Greetings and salutations, people of YouTube. Sister Danger here. I'd like to start off this evening by first saying thank you to Red Kelpnet for making the new graphic that I used in my intro. He has a Facebook page and a website, and you can visit those if you would like to check out more. I will put the links to them in the low bar. Also, I have discovered that my YouTube subscribers are now well over 100. Thank you very much, everybody. So it's my understanding that it is something of a tradition here on YouTube to do a short Q&A when you hit your first 100 subscribers. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask, please leave those in the comment section below, and I will pick a few and answer them in a follow-up video. I've never been one much for political correctness, and that isn't to say that I approve or laud really rude or insulting behavior, but it's more to say that I disapprove of speech policing others. So tonight I want to talk about a topic that has been on my radar quite a bit recently, and therefore I've been paying more attention to it than usual, which happens to be SJW trends and behaviors. It always seemed to me when I was in my roaring 20s and doing all the loud and audacious things that people who are in that age range do, that my anti-PC attitude was a sort of form of rebelliousness. Even at the time, I perceived myself as being this way, and I felt that even if it was a more difficult social path to walk, it was more honest behavior than the platitudes of political correctness. And I expected back then that as I got older, I would sort of mellow out and calm down and mature away from. I was wrong. In fact, compared to the wave of social justice culture whose tide is high, I often feel that I'm more radical now than I ever was in the past, even though I know that I have much higher discretionary standards for myself than I ever did back in young college years. It is as if I haven't become less unruly, but somehow more unruly. Where I used to find political correctness to be disingenuous and deceitful, I now find social justice and thought policing to be straight up oppressive and a dirty, dirty lie. It hasn't improved, it has worsened. This unexpected turn of events really gives me a lot of cause for thought and consideration, especially now that we are surrounded with the bald-faced weaponization of other people's generosity to march a narrative forward through the use of terms like privilege, problematic, cultural appropriation, shaming everything, and everything phobic. I've come to perceive this as a sort of superficial uprising of the omega, delta, and beta personalities. And if you don't know what those are, I will put a chart right here for you to look at and read the descriptions. But I say superficial because these people do not achieve their influence in a self-sustaining way. They achieve their power by exploiting the graciousness of those who are socially dominant. The world of alphas is often perceived as the cool kid who has it all, and I think that is probably truer than people who don't classify as alpha personalities probably are aware of, since alpha personalities, while they may get the limelight and all the glory, as it were, the praise for successes, they also bear the brunt of constant harsh criticism and a lot of haters. There are a couple of key differences, however, that especially differentiate the strongest of alpha-based personalities from everyone else around them. First, they understand that they are going to have to listen to, deal with, and learn to be indifferent to derisive opinions, attitudes, and behavior from other people. They get the fact that no matter what they do, they are not going to please everyone, and somebody is always going to be unhappy, and they have to deal with that constantly. But they display the ability to not get butthurt at every little criticism that comes their way. It just goes with the job. And the second key difference is that alpha personalities know that the best leaders that are out there don't oppress the people who are around them, but instead they enable those people. They help those around them to learn, to improve themselves, and they give them the tools of self-empowerment. And interestingly, it is in the spirit of the latter here that SJWs derive their social sway. Unfortunately, SJWs are like the nouveau riche versus classical wealth. They have to make a grand show all the time of their newfound status, and they must demonstrate to everyone around them that they are running with the big dogs now, and proclaim loudly that they are strong and progressive and they're morally superior, as if by repeating these things it will legitimize that idea in the minds of everyone else. Like rabid dogs, though, these omega delta beta personalities bite the hands that feed them. They're like little children who have suddenly come into an inordinate amount of power, and instead of adopting a great responsibility to go along with it, they use that power to berate and suppress anyone around them that might be scary or controversial. They cannot handle challenge because they didn't achieve their influence. They were awarded that influence as a consolation prize. It was gifted to them, only in this case, the children are squandering that gift rather than investing it. Very few of these SJWs use their time on the floor, however, to tackle issues and innovate, find solutions, and instead they use their time to tear down and ridicule and flex their muscles by invoking the guilt of other people. And those who will not be guilted into capitulation are subsequently ostracized from the group. Everyone understands, however, that those who try to maintain control by browbeating and fear-mongering everyone around them are not leaders, they're little dictators. They live in fear of losing their power, and they should, because they only have that power by proxy. It is borrowed, and it is only theirs by virtue of the tolerance from the true leaders and role models in our society. The ODB Club doesn't seem to understand that you don't get to be king of the hill without a constant barrage of challenges, criticisms, and a slurry of detractors. And the moment that the patience of our dominant social personalities runs dry and we say, enough of this drivelous whining, those omega delta beta personalities will no longer be pretending at king of the hill. In concept, social justice is a positive thing, but its adherents were given an inch and they have taken a mile. Nobody appreciates having their generosity leveraged against them as something that they are obligated to give to whomever happens to feel entitled to it. Similar to fundamentalists, the fanatical attitude of SJWs will rear its ugly head the moment that it meets any sort of calm opposition. Though they would claim to have a moral and ethical high ground, it is a sandy land for them, because when they knee-jerk and resort to spewing obscenities and pejorative and flinging accusations at people, their foundations wash away to reveal their very plain nature for all to see. And that is the crux of it, our tolerance and patience. I personally do not think that we can combat the SJW narrative with vitriol, lest we become that which we deride. But I most certainly believe in civil disagreement and the rejection of mass emotional appeal. When SJWs begin to find that their professional and borrowed victimhood are dismissed as frivolous, they will have to either tip their king or improve their argument. And though we must allow them to speak equally, it is no part of our job to give BS equal time with serious knowledge and expertise. I'd like to end tonight's little ranty rant with a clip from Peter Hitchens, which I believe summarizes very well the attitude that we should adopt when we find ourselves engaging in discourse or disagreement with SJWs and the narrative that they're constantly trying to march forward onto everybody.
Which is the point that I seek to make. I will actually be the first speaker here this evening not to use the F word or any other stupid coarsenesses of that kind, which I greatly disapprove of. No, I do. I think that they are a genuine insult to people who find these things disturbing and offensive and unpleasant, and I don't think that anyone speaking in a place such as this should foul the air with them, and I think people should restrain themselves from that. They should restrain themselves from personal rudeness. They should restrain themselves from deliberately setting out to annoy people because of things in which they sincerely believe. These are matters of conscience, morals, and good behavior.
So thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed what I had to say this evening. Please feel free to leave your comments in the low bar, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a good night.